Hello, everyone. Well, I have a special report today. I wanted to review this. There's a lot of things going on. I guess this is kind of focused on one of the topics regarding what's happening in California, but I can't help but bring in a few other things that kind of remind us of things that have happened or been said in the past. And I'm going to start with this statement from JFK. I thought it was quite interesting. And I think, footage like this is worthy of archiving and saving because, like I said, I believe our history is extremely important and for us to remember what we've already experienced so we don't have to continue to experiencing these things over and over again, and to not take lightly about what has happened in our past because the controllers like to repeat it. And if we're going to be naive enough to just say, hey, let's kind of scrub this away and that's old, that's never going to happen again, I think that's what they want us to do because it makes it easier for them to not have to think about a new tactic. They could just repeat the same one that was effective. So anyhow, let's start off with this is some old archive footage of JFK. And here it goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And there is very grave danger, for we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
Okay, so yeah, and that's pretty much how it ends, isn't it?
Circus sideshow acts ever.
So, it's funny, circus sideshow acts, yes, absolutely. We have this picture right here. This is what they call the Bobcat Fire that's happening in California, in the city of Monrovia. (9/11). Here is everything is a total loss. Entire towns devastated in Oregon wildfires. At least
wildfires that are burning across Oregon. The Riverside fire has scorched more than 40,000 acres near the city of Estacada. Mandatory evacuations are underway, with residents being told to leave immediately. Now, in the town of Medford, the Alameda fire destroyed homes and melted cars overnight. Fire officials say...
I don't know if you noticed that. Here again, we have trees that are standing and the cars are melted. Oh, we've seen this before, haven't we?
Overnight, fire officials say this wildfire season is unlike anything that state has seen in recent memory.
This is unprecedented. This has never happened in Oregon. We have not experienced the tremendous loss and destructive fire nature that we're seeing over the last 72 hours in our history.
NBC News correspondent Jacob Ward joins us now from Phoenix, Oregon. Jacob, what can you tell us about what's happening where you are right now?
You know, Joe, I know you have covered an enormous number of fires, and so there's a sort of a mental callus, right, that builds over time, and you start to think to yourself, you know, how many people and what was the space and all of these sort of intangibles, right? For me, I've been trying to zero in on the individual experience of it. And we were just standing talking about this particular home and what you can see here. If you look at the sink that has fallen through the burning floor, the dishes were still in it from someone's lunch, dinner, it's not clear, right? Then you notice the microwave, the stove over here, the cans from the pantry. This was the kitchen that fell through the floor. And then as you look out across this landscape, you see 121 homes in just this subdivision alone, much less the next one that's burnt and the next one after that. We were debating what language to use, right? Can you use a term like destroyed? That may not be totally right, but certainly this community is utterly devastated. At this point, the fire officials are talking about at least 35 large active wildfires, 4 of which are considered mega fires. As you mentioned, the forestry official, Doug Schaaf, told MSNBC earlier, they've never seen anything like this. This is not a state that deals with this. We've seen this kind of scene in California. They've never seen this in Oregon. And so you can just imagine the shock that people are feeling here right now, Joe.
It's pretty
Jacob,
serious.
it's really just heartbreaking when you think of all the people impacted with all the fires that we have covered over the recent years, and you add it all up. Now, I know there's evacuations. Are there people still in town there, or has everyone packed up and left?
It's a very eerie scene in this particular town, Phoenix, Oregon, which is under a mandatory evacuation notice. They have a system here called Get Ready, Get Set, and Go. This is under the Go mandatory evacuation. But people are trickling in on foot, finding their way in to try and find a lost pet, trying to find out what has happened to their house. And people over and over again are having the most horrible experiences as they discover their homes have been lost. Here's how one person, Heather Marshall, described it to us.
Everything's a total loss. We've been here since my son was 4 months old. And it's like, oh my gosh. The people next door are his basically adopted grandparents. Their house is total, everybody in here, their house, 121 trailers. Everybody's lost it. Lost what they have.
I want you to notice that it's their trailers. These were not the wealthy, the elite, or anyone that is suffering. These are the poor people. Why is this happening? Here's some more footage.
I don't know what to think.
From our porch, you can see everything. Flames and everything.
From what we were tracking, we thought that it missed us. We thought that it stopped.
I went from it being sunny, blue skies, into the sun being red, into I don't even see the sun anymore.
I was scared. Very, very, very tearful. I just was grabbing things and throwing it in the car.
Sheriff's coming through, going, level 3, get out. Get out.
What did you lose inside?
Everything. Everything. This is it. This is what I've got.
What you're wearing right now?
This is what I've got. This is what I've
I'm
got.
so sorry.
I don't know what is there, what's left.
Oh my God, it's our house. Thank God we got out of here. Oh my God. I remember sitting on my couch praying and crying for, Australia, praying and crying for paradise. And yeah, you don't think it's going to happen to you.
What a horrible situation. Here again, these are not the upper echelon of society. They've already, dealt with the brunt of all the problems. And, this is a very suitable, fitting picture to depict what's going on here. It's a total mockery. I'm sure their houses are protected. We know that, they don't want to defund the police, but they have security. And these are the hellfires that they brought into our world. Here's another image. This is Golden Gate Bridge. Can't quite see it. That was quick. Replay it. Here we go. That was the bridge. What color is that? It's just very strange. Think about the people not being able to breathe in these areas. Here's some more.
For over 100 years, we've served our community.
This stupid commercial. Oh, looks like I lost that one. Okay, we'll go with this one. Here again, you see the trees standing. And other things are melted. So what are we looking at here? Looks like that was someone's home.
I have no idea how this one
That house seems to be untouched.
survived.
Doesn't make any sense.
So many didn't.
I remember when there was another fire. It was the last year, I believe, and it looked like you know, there were certain homes that were torn down, or, you know, burnt down, and then of course there were others that were not. I'm gonna skip that for now. I thought this was interesting because someone actually took this footage and had Blade Runner. Looks like, wow. Eerie, very eerie. Kind of like this type of hell feeling that you get. Here's Blade Runner.
We decided
your job
that we
once.
would do.
I was good at it. I know.
What do you want?
I want to ask you some questions.
The key to the future is finally unearthed. Bring it to me.
It's mostly the scene.
You bought a war.
Your
Familiar?
job. I had your job once. I was good at it.
You see that strange yellow, I don't know, red, whatever. So this, let's go back and stop. So this is drone footage in the Bay Area, set to Blade Runner music. This was in 9/9/20. So this, I mean, who would have believed it would have looked like this? And but the writers of Blade Runner sort of replicated that, didn't they? Mother Earth is angry. Huh. I suppose is she calling herself Mother Earth now? Blamed climate change for the wildfires in California. This is Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, during Thursday MSNBC appearance. Pelosi said Mother Earth is angry when discussing the wildfires in California. She's telling us whether she's telling us with hurricanes on the Gulf Coast, fires in the West, whatever it is, the climate crisis is real and has an impact, Pelosi continued. Isn't that insightful? A pyrotechnic device that was used in a gender reveal party sparked a massive wildfire in San Bernardino, California, and burnt over 7,500 acres. So the gender reveal party is, when a child is born, and my friend from California told me that that's when the child's born, then whether it's pink or blue or whatever they're trying to celebrate, that the type of child, the child's gender when they're born, and they then had some types of fireworks that ignited this fire. So I don't know if that's supposed to be Mother Nature or Mother Earth, because she blamed it on that. And there are currently other wildfires occurring in the West, which Pelosi mentioned, including Washington, Oregon, Montana. As of Thursday, there are at least 8 reportedly dead in the fires, and probably, let's think about how many people are homeless today because of this. I don't even want to hear her talk at this point. Yeah, here's a picture. It looks like metal burning, which looks suspicious. Here's something interesting. I'm going to read what they said, what this is. Last night, people said that they could not see the beam. This is a short 45-second long video thanks to animatronic. We now have an easy-to-see enhanced color view of energy beam emitted from over Oregon, likely from a satellite in space, in my opinion. The beam going from Oregon into California last night, September 8, 2020, directly into a fire. Notice the fire gets excited whenever the beam moves. The beam has been detected again, going to a different direction, different fire, this time coming from above the ocean, likely in space, and beaming down into the fire in Oregon. And link to see the live view here. So I'll play this. So it looks like these are, some of the hot spots. And at some point you see something now. I don't know if this is authentic, but it might be worth looking into. It does look like there's an energy beam coming down and hitting this location right here. I mean, yes, there are some arsonists they have found and arrested, some that were caught involved in starting fires. But what is this? And this is the type of stuff we've talked about before. So,
the airplane involved was a...
I'm just going to come down here and I'll show you. They have some links. And it looks like they got this information from here. And if those of you that are familiar with this, Next Lab satellite and radar, apparently that's where they got it from. So, and here's another view of the destination. So, and it looks like the hotspots are there as well. So I guess if someone wants to research it and take a deeper look, I'm not an expert in this area, but I am definitely open, and would love to hear from other people and find out more about what's going on here. I don't know if I already looked at this one before. I think we already looked at this one. I'm not sure. Okay, so here's something else that I found, some more old footage from, we have two presidents today that we're going to hear from the United States, and regarding some of the things that have been going on in the past. That one's JFK talked about secret societies. Here's something regarding rioting, and this is from Ronald Reagan.
To negotiate many times.
Negotiate? What is to negotiate? What is...
University is a public institution.
That's right. But the university...
For all of its own community and for the community of Berkeley that live around it.
All of it began the first time some of you who know better and are old enough to know better let young people think that they had the right to choose the laws they would obey as long as they were doing it in the name of social protest.
I'm sick and tired of the argument about whether some effort to enforce law and order is going to escalate anything at all. Plain truth of the matter is this has to stop, and it has to stop like the day before yesterday. And it's going to be stopped whatever it takes.
I was picketed a few days ago in California by some youngsters that had signs that said, "Make love, not war." Trouble is, they didn't look like they were capable of doing either. There are cities in Michigan... Oh, shut up. I don't think that taking to the streets and rioting and disorder has ever solved anything or ever will.
Plain truth of the matter is this has to stop, and it has to stop like the day before yesterday. And it's going to be stopped whatever it takes.
I would like to propose that the issue is that on the campuses, you who are adults, you who are entrusted with those young people and their guidance, have a responsibility to make it plain to them from the very beginning that you yourselves do not tolerate the kind of conduct that has led to the burning of Wheeler Hall, that has led to 2 murders on the campus of UCLA.
You've created an atmosphere on the campus where no one wants to listen.
You are a liar.
Listen to.
Now, don't you talk about political speeches. Don't you make a political speech of that kind.
Those who would trade our freedom for the soup kitchen of the welfare state have told us they have a utopian solution of peace without victory. They call their policy accommodation. And they say if we'll only avoid any direct confrontation with the enemy, he'll forget his evil ways and learn to love us. All who oppose them are indicted as warmongers. They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple. Unless we realize we're in a war that must be won. Those who would trade our freedom for the soup kitchen of the welfare state have told us they have a utopian solution of peace without victory. They call their policy accommodation. And they say if we'll only avoid any direct confrontation with the enemy, he'll forget his evil ways and learn to love us. All who oppose them are indicted as warmongers. They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple. If you and I have the courage to tell our elected officials that we want our national policy based on what we know in our hearts is morally right, we cannot buy our security, our freedom from the threat of the bomb, by committing an immorality so great as saying to 1 billion human beings now enslaved behind the Iron Curtain, give up your dreams of freedom, because to save our own skins, we're willing to make a deal with your slave masters. Alexander Hamilton said, a nation which can prefer disgrace to danger is prepared for a master and deserves one.
I thought that was interesting. I just wanted to share it. Okay, so here's something very interesting, and I personally don't understand the happiness that's expressed here by Governor Newsom of California. I just want you to listen to it, and I'll make a comment, but I think he's referring to all the fires as global warming, which is really bizarre to me, especially since they know that people are finding that there are some arsonists, and there always have been. It's not a mystery. And then, of course, the suspected directed energy weapons. But anyhow, here it is.
This perfect storm. The debate is over around climate change. Just come to the state of California. Observe it with your own eyes. It's not an intellectual debate. It's not even debatable. We're in the midst of a climate emergency. We're in the midst of a climate crisis. We are experiencing.
He said we're in the midst of a climate crisis. This is not a climate crisis. If this was an issue regarding the climate, then why isn't it that they had fires like this before? I mean, just last night, there were 13 more fires at night. Okay, so they did have temperatures up to over, I think it was close to 120. That was one day, and it has been hot, and I do know that it is desert-like, and there's not a lot of rain, so these incidences do happen, but there are too many of them.
Weather conditions the likes of which we've never experienced in our lifetime. We're experiencing what so many people predicted decades and decades ago, but all of that now is reality.
I don't think it's reality. So I saw this on Facebook. Here again, I have no proof. I can't validate it, but I thought it was quite interesting, the story. It seems kind of detailed and possibly very true. The individual says, I decided to stay at home last night to protect my family, the home, and the animals we have. It was a long night in the dark with no power, and the smoke was pretty intense. Woke up to a phone call from Melissa Cannell Kelly stating the fire crews had to retreat due to dangerous conditions, and I needed to leave. Drove around to look at the area and look for visible fire, none found. As I'm locking my gate up, a sheriff stops to check on me, and we talked for a while. What I heard him tell me was mind-blowing. He literally said they are finding staging areas with explosives, petrochemicals, and wine bottles filled with gasoline. Not just randomly, but all over our area. He told me these fires are not behaving in ways normal fires grow. They start in odd locations, all within feet of roadways or pathways. If you don't think this is real, I'd encourage you to come see for yourself the homes that are already burned and the homes and my families that are about to burn. Fire crews are pulling out and have no choice to let it go. Apparently our state resources are wasted on COVID, and even the sheriff says we can't even arrest people or hold them due to COVID restrictions. If you think this isn't politically driven tactic to make someone look bad, then you can unfriend me. I just did everything I could to save my home. Someone thought it was important to destroy a fire truck, and yet the states are all aflame. Look at this image, all different locations. More images. Devastation. Keep in mind, whoever's creating these fires, they're not getting back at the elite. The elite are protected always. They're harming the poor. They're harming the animals. They're harming the trees. They're harming families with children. I also saw this. Here again, I can't prove it, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that there was some directed energy weapons. supporting and enhancing this. Interesting. Red sky. We've talked about this before. Poison in the sky. All right, well, I guess I'll end here. Thank you for listening. Let's continue praying for whatever hell has opened up out in California. I saw some things. I saw some kind of ritual activity. I saw a bunch of people who really are thinking that they're leveraging things by harming the innocent. Remember, nothing is hidden under the sun. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Androna Talks Radio.